Summer Showcase season is here and Sony's kicked it off with an awesome state of play. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler and today we are going to be talking about Sony's June 2026 PlayStation State of Play that was pretty damn good in my opinion. I don't know if I would say it was their best one yet or best one ever, but it was definitely a very strong showing. There were a lot of games here, of course. It was about a little over an hour in length, like an hour 10, hour 15 minutes long in total. We got some pretty cool third-party games here. We had Control Resonant appeared, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis appeared, that survival horror game Ill appeared. There were a lot of cool games here, but I want to talk about my 4 main key highlights here from the show, 3 of which are PlayStation Studios games. I was surprised that we got so much PlayStation Studios here, and they all looked amazing in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get into the highlights, the first of which being the headlining game that we all knew about going into the state of play, Marvel's Wolverine, coming from Insomniac. We got ourselves a lengthy gameplay demo here. I was about 7 minutes in total, but it felt like longer than that. It was just that good. We saw the premise for this, the setup for this was Wolverine. He was trying to rescue some captured mutants before they were being taken away by the Reavers to Bolivar Trask. So that's the setup here. And Logan, he gets to the place where they have the captured mutants, and he kind of sort of like stealths his way in brutally, of course, before it just turns into an all-out brawl, and he's just, chopping up people like you expect Wolverine to. This also gave us the brand new reveal, official reveal rather, that Jean Grey is in the game. She is here, which is awesome to see, and it's cool because we have you can work with your allies that you're going to have with you at different points of time during the game, which has also been confirmed. So we see during combat, we see Wolverine and Jean doing moves together. Like there are like takedowns that you can do that are contextual, I guess, like based on like Jean might say something, or there might be an icon that appears in the final version of the game that indicates, hey, you can do a move that like works alongside your ally here, which is cool. And then there's also, again, even just going into the brutality of it all, some of the contextual takedowns we saw happening here with the environment were pretty darn sick. Like Logan just chopping a dude up and then tossing him into a cinder block. It was absolutely brutal. I really loved how in the gameplay here, when we see Wolverine getting absolutely demolished, just like shot up and everything by enemies, you see the physical damage appearing on him, and like his skin being torn to shreds. You can see beneath the meat of the skin, you can see like the bones starting to appear. His suit actually gets like physically really brutally damaged, but then we also see like he heals gradually during combat as the fight is going on, and as you're doing damage and killing people and attacking people and all, you're building up your rage meter. And if you get taken down during a fight, if you lose all your health, as long as you have some of that rage meter there, you can use a bar of your rage meter to revive Logan, come back to life, and keep the fight going, which is really cool. And then there are, like we saw, like some like if you hold L2 and then you press a button, that'll do like a special move that Logan could do for combat. It looks really cool. It looks really fun. And like, when you look at this gameplay here, it doesn't look like it is so divorced from what Insomniac did with the Spider-Man games in terms of like just the basics, in terms of like what type of combat we might expect here, what type of gameplay experience we might expect. But they are definitely going all in on it being far. I feel like it looks like it's a bit faster paced than Spider-Man. It is far more brutal, of course, far more heavy, I think. I was over the moon with it. I was really enjoying what we were getting here with this gameplay. And then story-wise, the team did confirm that in this world there are no X-Men actually. There are no X-Men. Mutants are really living in hiding. The world doesn't really know about mutants. And in this game, prior to the game actually, Logan was part of this team called Team X, which was essentially working to try and, you know, keep mutants safe, keep them alive and all from the people out there that know of mutants that are trying to hunt them down and to get rid of them. He's been removed from the group for 3 years, and now he has rejoined the group in this game. What are the reasons? Who knows? We will find out as we play the game, but I am so excited to play this game and look more, see more of it and learn more about it. It looks so good. September 15th, confirmation again, solid confirmation, or reiteration rather, of that release date. Sabretooth is in the game too. He also appeared at the end of the snippet. It just looks like a lot of fun. I'm all in on it. I love the Spider-Man games that Insomniac has done. I have nothing but faith in them, and everything we're seeing from Marvel's Wolverine so far looks like it's going to be just another fantastic superhero game from them. So count me in for this one on September 15th. My second highlight from the show is going to be this game called Kamuri. I hope I pronounced it correctly. This is coming from a new studio called Unseen. This studio was formed by Ikumi Nakamura. If that name is like familiar to you, that's because she was at the studio that made Ghostwire Tokyo before the game came out. She left the studio. I forgot the specifics as to the reasons why, if she offered any at all in interviews after that happened, but this is her studio, this is her game, and I feel like we've seen this game before. Like, I feel like we saw like an announcement trailer for this game a few years ago at a Jeff Keighley event, almost certainly. Can't remember which one, can't remember what year, but this is our first time seeing actual gameplay for it. And honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. I love the stylization of it, not just of the like visually, but just like also the personality that the game has from the stylization. It looks really cool. It just oozes just cool personality, cool everything. It just feels awesome. I'm sorry, again, I'm just spitting off the dome here, so certain words are evading me right now, but I just loved how much style this game had. The action looks very fluid, very fast paced, very flashy as well. There's a lot of parkour type traversal we see here, like running up buildings. There's also like flying and swinging around through the city that the game is set in and all. And then you have like your flashy like yokai abilities, because you can capture yokai, but after you capture them, you have to bond with them and all. And they offer you different combat moves and stuff. It looks really cool. It looks like a lot of fun. And it's coming out next year for PS5. We got that confirmation. And we also got confirmation that this game, you could play it single player, but you could also play it in 3-player co-op if you would like to. So I'm sure that hearing 3-player co-op is probably going to raise some alarm bells or raise some flags for people in terms of like, whoa, is this like a live service type game? To be honest, on that front, we do not know. We're not quite sure yet how this game is going to be, what direction it's going to go in, how live service it will lean, if it leans that direction at all. But just from what we're seeing right now, just from what we're hearing about the game, I am into this game. I am very interested in learning more about it. Would like to get hands-on with it, if I ever had the opportunity to. That'd be great. But yeah, Kamuri, this game here, I think is one to keep your eye on. Just keep an eye on this one. It looks awesome. It looks fantastic. I'm definitely excited to play this one. Highlight number 3 from the state of play is going to be Until Dawn 2. This was the last game I expected to be announced at any PlayStation event, but lo and behold, here we are. Until Dawn 2, being developed by Firesprite. This is a team that they last made Horizon Call of the Mountain, the VR game for the PSVR 2. Haven't made anything since then. Here we are with Until Dawn 2. This game, whole new cast of characters, whole new location. It follows a group of like these fake ghost hunters that are basically always faking their content for likes and views and stuff. And they go to this abandoned island of sorts, this facility here, for again to make more content there. And in an expected fashion, things go south pretty quickly. There's a killer on the loose. There are secrets to uncover, and so on and so forth. It gets brutal, it gets violent. The trailer that we saw here did not shy away from showing that this would be a pretty gory game. So, if you're worried about that it would not be as gory, you can put those fears to ease. In fact, it might be maybe more gory than Until Dawn, the first one. Who knows? Jury's out on that, but if the kills they're teasing in this are any indication, it's going to be brutal. I'm into this. I am very much into this. I know that, people loved the first one, and people might be a bit trepidatious because Supermassive isn't making it. Supermassive is busy with their Dark Pictures anthology series that they've been doing, which I know has been pretty spotty, pretty hit or miss ever since Dark Pictures started. But nevertheless, I'm into this one. I'm very much into Until Dawn 2. We know it's coming next year, no specific month or anything, which that's fine. We don't need that right now. Just Nobody Can Exist is cool enough. I hope it's as good as the first game, because the first game, I really enjoyed it. I was very surprised by it. It was a game I decided to pick up one day randomly. I was like, sure, I'll play this. Why not? And just fell in love with it. It was a lot of fun. So hopefully Until Dawn 2 is just as fun and has a lot of tough choices to make as well. Some interesting character drama, and I'm so looking forward to seeing how the narrative branches just splinter off based off of major choices and very seemingly minor choices that you make in the game. It'll be so cool to see how it all plays out whenever Until Dawn 2 comes out next year. And my final highlight of the show was the closing game from the show, of course, that being God of War Laufey, or Laufey, I should say. Got the official reveal, official announcement, and confirmation of the next God of War game. Yes, Faye, Kratos' wife and Atreus' mother, is the star of this game, and this is not the story that you thought it was going to be. This is not a prequel. This is not a sequel per se either. This game is seemingly taking place concurrently with the Norse saga that starred Kratos and Atreus. Like, we literally see in the state of play 20 minutes, more than 20 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay from the very beginning of the game, from literally from start. And it starts with Faye being put on the funeral pyre at the beginning of God of War 2018, and then we go with her spirit to wherever she appears, wherever she goes, which ends up being this place called the Every Win, which is where just all sorts of different mythologies are like intertwined and connected there, where the gods from all sorts of different places are, all sorts of dead gods rather. So we see the dead Egyptian god Sekhmet, they're dead here. There's another Asian god, I don't know their name, and I don't want to mispronounce it either, but they are here as well. We see just like a blending of mythologies, which is so fascinating. It's so cool, such a cool way to do this. But then even more interesting again is that after Faye wakes up, she sees a mask when she first wakes up, and she's like, wait a minute, this can't be what I think this is. The path that I put Kratos and Atreus on, something's wrong with it, and it's not safe. And it begs the question, what's going on? What does she mean? What is she talking about? What was she expecting to be there? And what is not going to be the case now? What has gone wrong with it? So that it introduces that interesting narrative angle right there of like, all right, Faye is now trying to get back to the realm of the living to try and keep them safe from whatever she sees is going wrong. Now, we know how the Norse saga played out. Perhaps things still went fine, even though it wasn't according to the plan she originally had. Maybe she does some intervention on her side of things, which allows things to go to plan or go the way they did in the Norse games that we had in 2018 God of War and Ragnarok. Who knows? It'll be very interesting to see, narratively speaking. But gameplay-wise, good lord, this game is firing on all cylinders. Like, Jesus Christ. I expected Sony Santa Monica to cook up something awesome with this. I was not prepared for how incredible the combat in this game is looking, and just the game in general, but specifically the combat. Good lord. It's like they are blending the Norse mythology, the Norse saga combat, and the Greek era combat into one in a way that is perfect. So you still have that third person over the shoulder combat of the Norse saga. You still have like, I guess you could say, perhaps it'll still be the same type of like, R1 and R2 for like the type of hits you do it all. You still have that going on here, but it is far faster paced than Kratos ever was in the Norse games, and it's also far more fluid and far more lethal. And there is also an air of, there's also like, you could do more air combat as well. So we see Faye like straight up knocking enemies in the air and doing air juggles and air combos and knocking people down to the ground. It looks insane, absolutely insane. And I've seen some people say, oh man, it's like Devil May Cry now. No, guys, if you're saying that, you are either forgetting or did not know what the original Greek trilogy was like. The Greek trilogy combat, it was like that. Like, you were knocking people up in the air, doing air juggles. It was very fluid and fast paced in its own way. It just wasn't like a third person camera. It was the isometric camera. This is blending the two of Greek trilogy and Norse saga in a way that I cannot wait to get my hands on. It is looking amazing. And then there's also that cool move that Faye is doing where she's like knocking people's souls out their body, Doctor Strange style, and just wailing on their bodies so that when the soul returns, they just die instantly. It looks dope. We see that she has two allies here in this place called the Every Wind. There's this gelatinous cube called Frank, and then there's also these ribbons that have their own name. I'm blanking on Rue. The ribbons are called Rue, and the ribbons are attached to the sword that was lodged into Frank. And everyone there is kind of like, hey, oh, that sword is bad news. Like, you should not be using that sword. But she uses the sword, and in the situation she's in, and God, it's just looking so cool. I can only imagine, like, if Kratos and Faye, if they were ever in a game together, oh, they would have been unstoppable. Oh, if she was around in Ragnarok, like, Odin would have had every right to be like glad, just like scorch earth on their family, please and thank you. Because yeah, her combat goes crazy. I'm curious about what's going on with that sword. I'm curious about the Every Wind, what's going on here. This game looks amazing. We do not have any release information on it though. We do not know when it's coming out. We just know it's in development. I do not believe, and I mean, Jason Schreier has also said online that this game is not coming out years and years from now, so we should expect it relatively soon. I get the feeling it could maybe be a 2027 game, like end of 2027, but they just don't want to put a hard date on it right now in case it gets delayed. Maybe it's late 2027, if not early 2028. That's what I'm thinking. Because like everything about it looked very polished and very well done so far. So, hey, God of War Laufey, I'm all in on this game. Everyone, please be all in on this game if you're not already. It looks fantastic. This is the next mainline game in the series, and I'm just so looking forward to seeing where they take things and how they expand the lore, because now that we're blending all these mythologies into one with this place called the Every Wind, what is that gonna mean? Like, what other mythologies will we possibly see here? What other gods will we possibly see here? Will Faye and will us, by extension the player, see gods that Kratos killed in the Greek saga? Will there be gods that appear here in the game that we killed as Kratos in the Norse saga as we progress through it? Like, will we get to at some point in this game, will we see Baldur? Will Baldur appear here? Like, there are so many questions, and I am so eager and excited to see how it all plays out. So those are my thoughts on God of War Laufey, and those are my thoughts on the state of play as a whole. In terms of the highlights, again, the whole show is good, but the highlights here really, really, really stood out to me. Those are my favorite parts of the show. Let me know what your favorite parts of the show were. Let me know what your highlights were. If you share the same highlights as me, if there were other games from the show that were your highlights, leave it down below in the comment section. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot. We'll talk next time. Have a good one.